Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show and radio talk show where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. as I get to ride home with you in the afternoons. You can find us on television. We are syndicated on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. So happy to be on radio again. You can find us right here in Abbeville, South Carolina, in the Carolinas. This is WZLA, and they are 92.9 on the dial. So you can find us there on Saturdays at 9 a.m. Continue sending emails because I'm just telling you, they make my day, and you're not bothering me one bit. If you've got any concerns, something you would like me to do a little research, I would love to do that because I'm just a geek when it comes to doing research. DeJoly can tell you the amount of books I've done. And that's not even all of them. Some of them are in boxes put up. DeJoly is with me right now, and she is my go-to source and has been for many years when it comes to natural health. When COVID hit, I never got any of those COVID shots. And so I call them the jabs. Okay, I'm going to get shut down again. Okay.
I'll go with you because I call it the jab too. I didn't get it.
I don't even take the flu shot. I haven't done that. And that never made sense to me. Okay, so they're giving you a flu shot based on the flu epidemic of last year in Japan. So what? I mean, that makes, I'm not making this stuff up. I mean, it's the way it is. So I'm not seeing the point. And then in my earlier years, every time I would take it, I would get sick. And it's like I had to get the flu so that I could be immune from it. So that never made sense to me whatsoever.
Me either. I'm very natural. I've lived this long. I'm going to be 77 in a week and a half. And I have the best health I've ever had. I don't take any medicines, and I'm very physically, I walk around and I do the things that normal people do. I'm probably more like a 50-year-old than a 77-year-old, but I don't do the medicines. I go to my doctor and she says, I know you don't want to do this, and I go, no, I don't. And she goes, oh, okay.
I know the way mine does. I've got a wonderful doctor here, though, and so he's a younger guy. And so it was my first visit with him. Of course, I got to check out your medical history and all that kind of stuff. And so he said, have you had the hysterectomy and all that? And I said, yeah. And he said, total hysterectomy? And I said, yeah. And he said, and I'm seeing you're not on hormones? And I said, I haven't taken hormones at all.
Me either.
So he said, that's what he said. Good for you. I said, you're my doctor. I said, you're my guy. You're the guy. And so, I mean, he said, yeah, as natural as possible. There's some instances you'll have to take something possibly, but I don't. I haven't. And we take our vinegars and then what I want you to talk about is I love tincture. And so you introduced me to that world several years ago.
I sure did.
What is the value of a tincture?
Oh, the tinctures usually work within your body and stimulate whatever it is they're supposed to stimulate. And for instance, there are some that are for anti-inflammatory or they're to stimulate your heart to work at a more regulated space. That's what it does. It's very subtle. So you don't just take a whole bottle and drink it down and think you're going to get over it. You take it on a regular basis and you take it just sometimes. Some of them are just for a period of time and they just work for a certain particular thing. Like one, I see what you've got there is it's not elderberry. What is it? It's the pine. It's a hemlock.
It's hemlock. And let me make this plain with everybody. Okay, I know the story Socrates and he was poisoned by hemlock. Now that was a hemlock bush. Okay, it wasn't a tree. This is actually a tree, and you find them all over the South. And you'll know it's distinctive. It looks like a pine tree. As a matter of fact, we had one, and I thought it was a pine tree all those years. I could have been using it for medicinal purposes.
Oh, boy.
Use it for my asthma. My lungs get inflamed, what have you. You know how it is. You've been with me during the old days. We've had to go into quick commercial break so I can have a hacking cough time.
I know. I remember those.
I don't have to do it anymore. So I take this. Now, you'll know that is a hemlock tree. Another thing that's very distinctive about it are the pine cones. They are tiny, cute. I don't think they're even an inch tall. tiny, tiny little pine cones. And you'll see them, a lot of people use them in Christmas decorations, around Christmas time, put them up, the big ones and the little ones, it's the same. But this is what I use. And it's done amazing things for my lungs. Now, I will always have asthma, apparently.
A new station alert.
So I take that, and you introduced me also to ginger root.
Yes. And ginger root is an absolutely phenomenal herb. Not just, a lot of people use it as tea. Some people use the sugar-coated ginger root as candy, but it's actually got medicinal purposes. In that it, like if you have, just like your hemlock, it only focuses on certain parts of the body or certain parts of the chemicals in your body. And so it's a very slow kind of thing. It's a slow kind of treatment that you would call a treatment, but it is absolutely, top rate. For me, it's like the best medicine that you can get. It's because it's natural. So ginger root has a wide variety of uses, not just, we can eat it as a tea, drink it as a tea. And you can actually infuse oil with ginger root. So it's kind of like, one of those things that you really enjoy taking it. It's kind of spicy. Sometimes it's really hot. You don't want it. I don't like that. But, sometimes the best thing for you is something hot as opposed to something cold, which would be something like for instance, I have lavender, right? That's a cold herb as opposed to ginger root, which is a hot herb. I don't know if people really understand that, but so your body though tells you what it needs. In fact, you can actually, if you have like an apothecary that you were talking about earlier with me off camera, you can look at a whole lining of a shelf of herbs, and your body will tell you. It'll stop at one to read it, like you'll focus in on it. You don't know why. You just go on past it, but suddenly you go back to that one. That's because your body is telling you, get this herb, get this oil, get this whatever, So so ginger root. Tell me more about your experience with ginger root.
Oh man, this is what's happened. You remember a long time ago, I worked at a radio station, and the guy smoked like a chimney, and you had been there, and I think you felt it made you want to cough all the time.
Yes.
And so Phil said, this is not normal. You've been coughing now for months.
Yeah. So
you need to go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor, and they said, I'm sending you to a specialist. The specialist asked me how many years I've been smoking. And I said, I've never smoked a day in my life. And so she said, your lungs look like a smoker's lungs. And I said, well, I work at a radio station, and the guy there smokes like a chimney. He has emphysema. There was mold there. This wonder got out of it alive. She said, you're going to have to stop working there. And I said, I can't. My show's doing really well there. And she said, you're going to have to stop.
Yeah.
What she wanted me to do, she wanted me to get on this medication, and she wanted me to take this machine, this breathing machine. And I remember asking you about this.
Yes.
And I remember what you said. You said, all right, if you get started with it, the rest of your life, you're going to be on a breathing machine.
Right. That's right.
And I said, I don't want to be on a breathing. I'm thinking of my stepfather who walked around with that little machine all the time. And I was like, I don't want to walk around with a machine that looks like a bomb or something, And that's what it made me think of. So, and I said, well, what else can I do? And then you were telling me about natural remedies, and you were telling me about ginger root, and you said, nah, it can be hot. And I said, that's okay. I like hot stuff. And so, but I like it. I like taking it, and everybody has their own likes. I like taking it in a powder form. And I like to sprinkle it on salads. I like to cook with it. But I can do my own. And so what I've been doing, you can raise your own ginger root, and you can even do it in the South here in the land of Dixie. So
right, that's right.
That's your ginger root. And then what I do is I chop it up, I dry it, I put it in the humidifier or whatever, and then what I do is I let it harden, and then I use a coffee grinder and I make a powder out of it.
Oh,
and
that's what I would do with turmeric. Yeah.
Oh, turmeric is wonderful too.
Yeah.
Has all kind of
I never thought about it doing it with ginger, because I normally eat it raw, like within a tea or something, or I also do use it in cooking, but I use the powder that you buy in the store. I never thought about making my own powder.
Oh,
But
I worry about that. I worry about the powder. What fillers are being put in it?
yeah. And that's one of the benefits. What?
You're the one who taught me to be a do-it-yourselfer.
I know. Okay.
And
I'll take the blame.
No, this was wonderful advice because I feel healthier, like growing my own sage. So my grandmothers would back in the olden days, would grow their own sage and they would make dressing. And then they quit doing it for some reason, started buying it. And I remember both my granddads saying, it's not the same.
No,
It
it's not
doesn't taste the same.
Yeah.
And so then my grandmother went back to raising her own, and he'd say, "No, that's the dressing I like."
Mm-hmm. Well, see, there's different kinds of sage too, because there are several different garden sages that you can use that taste different, and you can dry those and use them in all kinds of things. But for me, there's also the white sage that grows naturally out in the South or the Northwest. That's used in ceremony and so on. And you can use that to burn. We have a lot of those, sticks of sage that you can burn to take out energies and clean out yourself and all of that. That's what's used in the Native American way. And so I say, yeah, there are different kinds of sage because I've grown different kinds of sage in my garden. I love it. Because you can use, some of them are good for, turkey dressing, and others you can use in tea. But I also like to make a lot of oils, so it's just like garlic oil, garlic infused oil, and that kind of thing. So.
Oh yeah, that's wonderful, and it's the best flavoring you can get. I mean, it's just, if you ever make your own, you'll never go back to buying it again.
You'll never go back.
I can't trust the industry.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of fillers they use, and they're not all healthy. And, we're finding that out with MAHA. We're finding out about a lot of things. So I do also caution people about buying stuff in the store that's already made. I don't use hardly any processed food. I use one ingredient food, Oh, that's an apple. I'll take it. A banana. Okay, I'll take that. How about lettuce? Okay, here's lettuce. But people wonder what I eat, and it's usually one ingredient. If it's, dry beans, it's dry beans and water. So
that's another thing. If you have your own garden and dry your own beans, they're totally different from the dried beans you buy in the store.
They are, and they're delicious. Yeah, because there's nothing added on the out, because some people say, well, if I wash my apple, it's going to be clean. And the truth is, it's already seeped into the peel. It's already seeped into the actual apple, and the bark of the tree and the leaves of the tree. It's kind of like our body. We soak in everything that is around us, every chemical that they put on it. So when you buy an apple and you think, oh, it's healthy, and I'll wash it and it'll get all that stuff off, but it really doesn't. So even now, the organic stuff that they're talking about is not necessarily clean, pure stuff. It's they can put an organic on a lot of things. If you find a company that you trust that says organic, that's one thing. But if you're growing it in your garden, it's organic.
Yeah, I've got myself to blame if it's not.
Yeah. I like that because I can use my own compost. And I know you do too. So you can make up all kinds of stuff out of that. But I remember 2 years ago, I think it was, I decided I was going to plant my different herbs in my greenhouse, and I had taken this is a funny story. I had taken the compost and put it all in the pots and everything and stuck the seeds in. And I waited, and about a week later, I had plants coming up, and I was going, yay, plants, woohoo! They were all tomato plants from my compost. I had like 60 tomato plants. I'm like, oh no, this is not good. So I took them and gave them to the food bank to let them and give them out there.
I know you got tickled one time. You came to my house. You came to my greenhouse, and the same thing. Tomato plants were all over Kingdom Come, and you said, "Why so many tomato plants?" And I said, "Well, my dog Buddy. He's very loving." And I was holding some seeds, and he jumps on he's big boy, he's bigger than I am. And so he just jumped up. Well, when he jumped all over me, seeds went all over the greenhouse and they just came up. I thought I had picked them all up. And I'll tell you, you can be an accidental gardener and not know it.
You can. I have something beautiful that comes up in my garden every year, and I never take it out, even though some people call it a weed. It's a natural impatiens. It's a wild impatiens.
Oh.
And it's got, it looks like a flower that looks like this, and it's pink and coral and, different varieties that you see in a normal, I shouldn't say normal, in the store-bought impatiens plant. But the store-bought has a flower that's like this, and then natural looks like this. Mm-hmm. And the hummingbirds go right in there.
They love it.
So I never get rid of them. I know they call them a weed, but they're not a weed. They're food. They're food for somebody, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, keep the bees coming back too, and they love and there's another plant. I know you know about this one. It's called the comfrey plant. It's COMFREY, and the comfrey plant. I've made a tincture out of that, and what I use this for right here. First of all, the bees love the little flowers they love comfrey flowers. And we've got about 38 of these comfrey plants out. The bees, again, they love it. So I like this because if you ever get stung by a bee, you know how wussy I am? It doesn't take much for me. So I get stung and I look like Elephant Man. It's just like, I got my head swells and everything else. So a couple of weekends ago, we were outside and then, I've got to hang around with the bees. Well, one of them got upset. It thought I was coming after his food. And so he stung me. He got caught in my hair and he stung me right there. First thing I did is I ran inside the house. I have this in a spray bottle. I keep the tincture of the comfrey in a spray bottle, and all I did is just sprayed my head, and the sting went away. It didn't hurt anymore. I had a little bit of a headache that night, but then I just put some more, and it went away, and I did not swell. But you got to do it as quick as you get stung. As soon as you can. It feels you need to be walking around with a bottle and that stuff.
Well, if you had a fresh comfrey plant, you could have taken it as a poultice and put it up there, and that would have also taken away. So that's, for me, like I use a lot of different things, but if I have a fresh plant, it's I'm much happier.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I would put it on there. Or I've used lavender for bruises and like that kind of thing where you put the lavender oil on your skin directly. And so, but what I was saying about lavender is that you can use it for a lot of things, including getting rid of menstrual cramps, which I did not know that. Because I'm beyond menstrual, I don't need to know that. But some of your listeners
know that a long time ago.
some of your listeners are of the age that they still have periods, and it's good for that. Lavender tea, lavender oil, lavender in general is a very comprehensive kind of herb that you can use, kind of like garlic is. I love garlic. I love garlic.
Sleep too, doesn't it? Helps you to relax.
Yes. Lavender helps you sleep. Usually you can put oil of on your wrist. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons you use your wrist is because it's like got the pulse of your whole body comes right there, right? It's easier to get to, and you can use it there. And yeah, it does help you sleep because I have a tendency to sleep like this. And so I've got that right next to me, right? So anyway.
Something, my grandmother used to do that in the summertime. So we were growing up in the 60s. We didn't have all the air conditioning and stuff like we have now. And she loved to work outside out in the garden. And so when it would get really hot, she would come in and get an ice cube and put an ice cube and just rub it.
That's right there.
Just like that. And it would cool her off.
Yep. That's right. Because that goes through your whole body. Those sensory whatever you call them. I can't remember what you call them. My brain went dead just then. But anyway, your body,
you can
put it on your ankles. I fell on my back porch a little over a year ago. And because my back porch is sheltered, but the rain hits it, right? And so it was slick. I did not know it was slick. And I went out one morning to go do something, and I just went flat out on my back deck. And I hit my inside of my ankle on something. It didn't break. But boy, my foot and my leg all the way up to my knee turned green and yellow and purple. And now it's down to a tiny little knot like that. And it's taken that long for it to heal. But I use lavender on it, and I can massage it when I do that because the no pain, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, it's hurt. But it's very good for that kind of thing where you can get rid of bruises easily. If you can put your lavender, like this comes with a dropper. I use a dropper. You just put a little bit on your finger and put it on that, massage it into that, wherever the bruise is, lightly massage it, but enough so that it's spread over the skin, and it will start taking the bruise away very quickly.
It doesn't take much. I mean, just a drop or so does that. I like my son. My son is into the medicinal thing too, and sometimes he gets headaches. And when he gets peppermint oil, he'll get wherever the headache is, it's usually right here on his temples. And so he'll put the peppermint oil on there, and he says that works better than anything ever.
Did you know that lavender is purposefully used for migraines?
I got to tell him.
Well, tell him lavender.
He doesn't get the headache. I mean, he works. It's where he works. He's a butcher. In a grocery store, and it's really cold in there, although he likes the cold. I would not like that environment. I like hot heat. So anyway, he really likes it. He said, but sometimes maybe I just get too cold, and it'll give him a headache. And when he comes over to the house, he tells me how I'm cutting meat wrong.
Well, you were mentioning peppermint. Peppermint is also good for toothache. So allow the oil to get down in around the tooth, and just kind of, you can also put it on a cotton ball and but smash your teeth together with that cotton ball with the peppermint oil on it, and it will take away the pain of a toothache.
What about a baby teething? Because some, they say don't use it on like kids under a certain age or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I wouldn't, but not peppermint oil, but you can always use lavender oil. It's a very innocuous kind of oil. It's an herb that's so can be used in millions of different ways. It seems like, but you can also give them something cold, like an ice cube with lavender in it, lavender water in it, and can't hurt them at all. And it can also soothe their mouth when they're teething.
I love the smell of lavender and citrus together.
Oh my, yes.
Oh man, there's nothing better.
I love patchouli.
Yeah. No, but I tell you, that is the best fragrance. And so, because I make candles too, and so for myself, I like those. I really do like those. But tinctures, so do tinctures actually work faster than, say, an oil? If you wanted to do, say, like an infused oil with some of the herbs.
It really depends. That's the stupid question. Not stupid question. Stupid answer that I get. Everybody tells me it just depends. It depends on what you're using it for and how much of an emergency it is, right?
Using a compress though with leaves, wouldn't that be like the absolute fastest way?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, you can take the dried comfrey leaves. You're talking about comfrey. You can take the dried comfrey leaves and make a tea out of it, and that goes directly into your body, goes directly to whatever it is that's ailing you, so to speak. And that's a fantastic herb for that. But yeah, if you want something direct, to me, it's like fresh is fresh, like if I want to go out and get some peppermint or some sort of other herb out of my garden, like I had golden seal here Well, it's gone now, of course, because by the middle of summer, it's on its way out. But you can use that for tinctures. You can use it for tea, the leaves for tea. You could use the petals of the flower. It's depending on what it is you want to accomplish, then that's the herb that you want to take. And it can be slow, it can be fast. For me, I like slow, unless I'm like, I gotta have it now, but like a bee sting, yeah, I want it now. I want it now. I want it now.
It's caught in my hair.
I don't want to wait a month for it to get better. No, it doesn't really take a month. It's just like anything else. If you take it on a regular basis, it works you would call it systemically. It works very ongoing, plodding. It's just continues, and you get the results are so different from taking a regular pill from a doctor, a pharmaceutical pill.
Well, and this is all natural. Like I said, for my asthma, I mean, I just take it. I take a teaspoon at night before I go to bed. And another thing is I would wake up all through the night, couldn't breathe, choking myself to death. It scared Phil to death. And so I'm not doing that either. And so it's got to be this. It's got to be the natural way. By the way, I followed your advice. I did not get the machine. And so
you had to breathe.
Yeah, that's another thing you taught me too, is there are so many things that we can do for our bodies that don't cost you a dime. I mean, and one of those is the deep breathing. And, you said,
I had a woman tell me the other day, I'm afraid I'm going to die. And I'm going, faith over fear.
You will.
Continue saying to yourself, faith over fear, and you're going to get through it. Breathe, faith over fear. And now she gets through things. I'm a coach, a writing coach, so I have to think of all these things. But one of the things that's so common is that people, when they have these things happen, like a bee sting, and you're going to swell up, you get fearful. Oh my God, I got a bee sting, right? Mm-hmm. So the best thing is to just stop and breathe and go, okay, now my logic says in the house, I have something for that. Go get it and put it on your head. But you spray it. I've never seen anybody do a spray bottle of tincture. Never. I've never.
I mean, I'm gonna say it just did it right then. I'm telling you, it took good care of it. Mm-hmm. I just couldn't believe it. But now there's been some controversy about comfrey, and this is what the controversy is. First of all, the government gets involved in anything, it's always going to be, controversy. So the controversy was this: they lab rats, which I think were a little bit bigger than lab rats, but anyway, they fed them a diet of 30% comfrey. I know. First of all, that didn't make sense. You want to feed me 30% comfrey, I'd die. Hey, I could drown in my own water drinking too much water. Okay, so too much of a good thing on anything is not good.
You are exactly right.
So when they said 30%, I'm like, 30%? Of course it killed it. It killed the rats. It killed everyone. So anyway, sometimes it's not logic what they use. All I can say is what it does for me. And so...
Well, that's what you call the discerning mind. It's called free thinking. Oh my gosh, logic, like common sense.
Common sense. What is this common sense you speak of? And that's the point. Sometimes people just keep popping pills and stuff like that, and they start getting swimmy headed, and they start getting, like the oozy. Well, that's common sense telling you quit taking so many of them. Mm-hmm. And what happens with prescriptions is people just keep taking it over and over again. And then they reach a point where it doesn't even work anymore. They got to take extra.
Yep.
I don't want that kind of a life.
Nope.
So the natural ways for me, baby, the natural way. I can live with it that way. Mm-hmm. Let's go to a commercial break, and then I want you to tell us how you make a tincture. Okay. And there's a process to it. So let's go into and I can't wait to get back and hear what you say about that. But we'll be back in just a few minutes. I'll hang in there. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Because of your overwhelming support, our 1488 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing. Including my classic standard MyPillows, only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic MyPillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.
We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show and radio talk show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday. Beginning at 1 p.m. is DeJoly and I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. Before we get started, I know we want to talk about how you make a tincture, but now you are also an author, you're a speaker. How can folks get in contact with you, and how can they find your writings?
Wow. My writings are in book form at Amazon.com. and also through my website, DeJoly.com. That's my first name.com. And I do a lot of workshops. I've got one coming up next Saturday, writing yourself out of isolation into connection is what it's called. But it's not just about writing, it's finding our true authentic self. Sometimes I give writing prompts through private coaching and group coaching to get people stimulated to write what their truth is about a particular thing that's in their story, and they end up having epiphanies, and most of the times they come out with a much clearer idea of who they are and what their authentic voice is. So that's kind of what I do. But I'm an author. I'm working on my 5th book right now. And you got me at a good time, because I started it a couple of weeks ago, and it's really intense. So let's see, my books are on Amazon and at my website. You can find me on Facebook. And if you choose to get into my private group, which is Write and Rise, all you have to do is go to Facebook, Write and Rise, and answer the questions, and you can get in.
But you're a real human being. You're not going to send spam, right?
I don't send spam, and I get people out of mine that do send spam. I don't like that. So, yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't either.
We have a retreat coming up in October. This in a couple of weeks on the 17th is my 3-day weekend retreat up here in the mountain, and people are loving it. I've gotten requests for another retreat in the spring, so I'm enjoying that.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice way to form a connection with people that are like-minded, and are looking for self-reflection and relaxation, getting away from the noise of the city, kind of thing. I have people coming from Boston and New York City and Philadelphia and Denver and Tampa. So,
well, I just got to tell you, I wouldn't go back to the corporate world for nothing. I love exactly what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. There's peace of mind. And so, and of course, Phil and I own it. So we just beat up on each other. That's no problem.
I own me too.
No, actually, he does his part of the business, and then I do my part of mine. And so, I mean, he doesn't want to do anything I do, and I don't want to do any of this computer geeky stuff. I mean, I can't do it. So, but anyway, he's pro at it. He knows how to make it work, and I just can't do it. Okay, let's talk about tinctures on how to make them. And so, what's the best way for a beginner to get started?
Beginners don't necessarily have a garden. They might want to do this, but they don't have to have a garden. They can get dried herbs from the herb store or from the farmer's market. They'll have herbs. So go to them, and I use vodka, and there's always a need for a strainer. These are some of the things that you're going to need, and bottles to put it in after it has sat for a while in my ball jar. So you were telling me earlier that you put double cheesecloth in here to you put it through the colander first, right? Sometimes I do that, but my things are like lavender seeds are too small, so I don't put them through a colander. I put them through this, and then I'll put them through the cheesecloth. But yeah, so basically what you do is you go and you get you can look it up depending on the herb that you choose. You can go on the internet, Google it, as a lot of people do. They Google it, and I use DuckDuckGo. But anyway, you can find out what the percentage of alcohol to the herb is. Sometimes you only put a little bit of the herb in with a lot of vodka, or you put a lot of the herb in with not so much vodka. So it depends on what they say on the internet.
Well, difference between a woody stem type herb and then something that's a little bit more limpy as a stem. Using basil, I mean, you can make out of anything. So basil's going to be a little more lint-like. Whereas using, let's just say basil and rosemary. Rosemary's stemmy-like. So would there be a different ratio between those two?
I'm sure there is. I am sure, because you would have to stuff an awful lot of basil leaves into even this size jar to get the amount. But also you can, once it has settled down, you can add more. And also at the end, once it's sat for a while, like halfway through the sitting position, you can add more alcohol, put it in a larger jar and add more alcohol, which it seems like it would diminish the quality of it, but it doesn't. So you can do that. And also with the stemmy kind of rosemary, echinacea, all those that are more rigid, they're going to require probably more alcohol to the kind of herb that the stemmed herb. So you would definitely have to look that up, though, because I'm not an expert on ratios, but I know there are different ratios. And I also know that you can add alcohol to it to get a larger percentage of the tincture and still not to diminish the quality of it.
Well, let me ask you a question, and this pertains to making the tincture. Okay, so let's just say I'm using rosemary. Okay, do I take the rosemary off of the stem, or do I put the whole stem and everything in it?
Oh, you take it off, but and there's some herbs, and I'm going to say rosemary too. You can use the leaves, or you can use the flowers, or you can use the stem. So it's like depending on what you want. Okay, that's why I say it all depends. That answer sometimes used to get me really not so happy, but it depends on what your purpose is in making it. So you can use one of the other. So yeah, you take the flowers off the stem. That makes it very compact, and depending on what you're using it for, it's going to be compact. You may only use this small of a jar with maybe only half of it filled with rosemary, right? And the rest is alcohol. And that is a lot of tincture. I mean, what you've got right there, that should be happy time.
Well, I'm always ready. And then anybody I know that's sick, I mean, I send it, so I want plenty of it around. And when I open up my pocket,
it doesn't go bad.
No, I mean, I have vanilla flavoring that I've had for years. The older it gets, the better it tastes. I mean, now you only have to use a little bit of it.
Well, I just finished the red clover tincture, and it was 2017. It was still good.
It will just last forever. I mean, it's just ongoing. I always worry about the supply chain, and I don't worry about it because I got enough stuff here to do us through whenever. But
that depends, because do you have the alcohol you need that's going to last through? You know what I mean? So that's part of the supply chain that you don't have control over. You have control over growing your plants, but you don't have control over whether the store is going to have vodka, right?
That's true. Let me ask you this. You make tinctures out of vinegar, like distilled vinegar?
I have never, but I have you. Have you ever made one?
I've read that you can, but I don't know. Does it seem like to me that it would be the same?
I don't think it would be the same. I think the time that it takes would be different, and I think the taste would definitely be different. And my personal, I prefer the what is it called? The other vinegar. My brain just went dead again. Not Sprague's. It's got the mother in it.
Oh, okay. And,
yeah, the organic vinegar, not the kind that you use for cleaning your stove or windows. But that, I prefer that. And in fact, I can take a teaspoon of that and just drink it. It's not like, yeah. So I don't know how it would be to have cleaning vinegar tincture.
I just don't know about the longevity of it. I mean, to me, it seems like, okay, so you've got the alcohol base, that's going to last forever. But if I use the vinegar base, it might last. I just don't think it would be longevity. Is this right?
Yeah, I don't either, but I have never heard of anybody using that kind of vinegar. So I don't know. I only have experience. I've only had experience with the vodka. And then, of course, the other way you infuse herbs into oils and stuff like that. I've done that. Mm-hmm. So I'm not familiar with that.
Well, how long should it, like, when is the quickest time you should, in other words, let's say I've got a cold and I didn't start this until last week. How long should I let this sit before I use it?
You can use it within a couple of weeks, but the best is at least 6 weeks. I mean, but if you've got a cold, it very easily could pass in 6 weeks. But if you want to get rid of it, like you've got an emergency, you're going to do a talk somewhere and you don't want to sneeze in the middle of it. You can start using it. You can start using it as soon as you want, but it's preferably at least 2 weeks, and then go up to 6 weeks and make yourself another dose. Another.
Now I've seen some people make tinctures, and some people would like comfrey. Let's just say comfrey. And they'll put the whole leaf in there. And then I've seen some people who cut the leaf. So which is best to do, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I would put the whole leaf, because cutting it kind of damages it. That's just my opinion. I don't know if there's any scientific evidence of that, but I've only used the full leaf. And also clean it. And not you don't use soap on it, but you do rinse off any dirt or any kind of cobwebs or whatever that were on your plant. And then once it's in the alcohol, it doesn't matter. But if you've got gritty, sandy soil, whatever, you want to clean that off.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, comfrey can be a booger to clean, though. It's got all those little hairy things.
I know. That's why I dry it.
That's why I don't buy it anywhere. That's why I raise my own, because I've got this big fear that I buy it from some big company somewhere and they don't get all the grit off of it. I don't know if I've got a thing about that. So I think they probably don't clean it off, and I'm probably eating grit and who knows what if I buy it somewhere else. I know what old Donna does. Old Donna is I'm not going to rinse it to death, and I'm not going to take any of the properties away from it, but I want to make sure that all those little hairy leaves that are in there are not holding onto gritty sand.
Well, for me, a good thing for me is I dry them. And once they're dry, you can actually shake them, and rub them together and shake them. And
easy to do. Okay, now let me ask you a question about that, because I have a dehydrator, and then sometimes I just dry them. By air. Which do you think is best? Use the dehydrator? Does that take anything away from it?
No, it doesn't take anything away. In fact, a lot of times it's preferred. You can also bake them at 200 or 180 in the oven for a period of time, and they'll dry that way. So it doesn't matter. But oftentimes what happens is if you're laying them out and you're drying the leaves, if you don't have it in a covered space where there's nothing going to get to it, you're going to get that grit that you don't want. So you want to be sure that you have a covered space for it.
I prefer the hydrator because I imagine there's going to be a bird fly over it too. So,
leave it to you, Donna, to think of that.
I'm not necessarily a clean fanatic. I mean, you see, looking at my house, I'm not, but I want my food clean. Anything that goes inside our mouths has got to be clean. But I have that fear, and
and you don't know, because when it comes from Vietnam or other countries that don't have the same kind of cleanliness qualities, and like we have quality control,
right,
they may do that. They may not clean it. So you do have a legitimate concern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm not tasting grit. I'll put it to you. But that's another, because I might not get all the grit off of the hairy part of that comfrey plant. Isn't it an awful? Isn't it a booger to clean? I mean, that's, to me,
it is. And so what I use, I try to use only the fresh, which is whether it's made with tea or you put it in your tincture or whatever you do. If you have fresh, that's better than dry.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Yeah. So that's why I try to use the fresh, but you can use dry, and it does take a little bit more work to make them dry, because once you've got them wet, you then have to dry them to put them in the dehydrator.
It's a process.
It is. So eliminate your process, make, what I've done is I've dried them and use them for tea. Like I'll take an herb that I really like comfrey, and I'll dry it, and then later I'll have a bag full of the crushed up leaves, because once they're dry, I can crush them up and make myself. And I have one of those, tea things where you can just scoop up tea, and so you can whatever's convenient for the most part. You don't want to make it like work, because then it feels like work.
Yeah, that's true. And then I like the stems. I'm just telling you, the stems of the comfrey plant is so medicinal. Because this is what my research has brought me. And you tell me if I'm wrong on this, because I could have listened to the wrong person. So you've got the stem, you got the leaves, okay. But what I'm hearing, if you're concerned about the mouse study, where they jammed 40% of their diet of comfrey leaves. So if you're afraid to take it because of that study that was done, the older the leaf, the bigger the leaf is, the less abusive, I guess it would be, if you wanted to say that, to your body. If you get the smaller leaves, they're going to have a little bit. I'd rather have the one that's got the most potent to it myself. So some wait until the leaves get like bigger, because those things can be like 2 feet almost.
Yes, they can.
So they're huge leaves. But I kind of like where I can get the most potency. I like the roots.
Oh, the roots. Oh my goodness. I love the roots. Yeah. Just like I was saying about the turmeric plant. You can find so many good things about that, and take that root, and you can, peel it if you want to or not, but I sometimes will peel a section of it so that I have enough to scrape off, and use it that way, or I'll dry it. And the root is very powerful of anything, really, not just an herbal plant, but that is the rooting into the mother, drawing the energy from the earth into the roots is what you are actually consuming when you're taking that herb. So, I think the roots are very powerful.
Absolutely. You're going to laugh at this probably. You've laughed at many things I've done throughout the years. So I was watching a video. My son sent me this video, and he said, I've heard that you can make Sprite out of pine needles. Pine needles are actually good for you. I found that they're full of vitamin C. They actually have more vitamin C than oranges do. And so I tried it. I said, why not? I'll try it. Believe me, we got 8 acres here of pine trees. So I cleaned them. Of course, me, I cleaned it really good. And I let them dry. And then I cut them up into pieces, and I put them in water and put 1 tablespoon of honey in it. And you let it set out no longer than 3 days. It needs to set out in the sunshine. Be careful when you open it up. It's just like a so there's 3 different ways you can do it. So you can use like a artificial type sweetener, which I would never do. You can use a tablespoon of sugar, or you can use a tablespoon of honey. The tablespoon of honey literally tastes like a Sprite.
Wow.
It really does. And when you open that up, you just pour your it's a Sprite out of a tree. But the reason I like to do this is the pine. There's some research on these things. I mean, the pine tree is full of vitamin C, and it's probably what this hemlock, because it's like a pine needle. Looks like, and that's probably what's keeping me healthier too.
Well, sometime you ought to do a show on different kinds of honey, because depending on the honey you use in that, it may make a difference. I don't know as far as the taste goes. So,
well, it depends on what your bees eat. Like my honey bees, so I've got lavender all over the place, and so lavender honey. And so that's some good stuff. Now I'm building up to 10 hives. So we've not robbed the bees. We haven't taken any of the honey because I want them to have a good long winter. Okay,
Mhm.
well, I get it. Yeah, I want to go out there and get that honey so bad I can't stand it. but we're gonna let them keep that honey this
Mhm.
winter. But next year I'm building up to 10 hives.
Cool. How many hives do you have now? 2. That's
So
going to be a big. That's going to be a big switch for everybody there.
I don't care. I love it. I just love natural. And I'll tell you something. Store-bought honey. Back before we had bees, we would buy honey from the grocery store and it'd turn into sugar. The easiest of anything I've ever seen in my life. Why is that? This honey doesn't turn into sugar.
I don't know, but the last 3 bottles that I've bought have done that. But they all say raw, unfiltered honey on them, and I don't understand. It's raw, organic, unfiltered, and I'm like, well, then why are you turning to a rock? And I'm talking within a month of getting them. Within maybe I use it maybe 4 or 5 times, and all of a sudden I've got to get in there with a spoon and dig out some sugar.
Well, you can put it in the microwave for a minute or so, but I don't think that does any good. Does that take something away from the properties?
I would imagine it would. But all the directions say stick it in a hot thing of water, and I've done that over and over again, and it still doesn't change it. So I'm not sure if if I'm seeing mislabeling on purpose. Let me just put it.
I think so too, because when we've robbed the bees, that honey will last forever. You can even accidentally leave the lid off of it overnight, and it doesn't harm it. I mean, we'll keep the lids on really tight and everything. But we've done that before. Just accidentally forget, and I mean that honey, it lasts. But now we have no pesticides in the gardens, none of that stuff. And nobody comes. We live out in the country. We're out of the city limits, so nobody comes by with
exhaust,
pesticides or any of that stuff. So on the garden too. You know what? We've only got 2 minutes left in this segment.
Oh my goodness.
So let's talk about your books again and where folks can find your info.
Okay. So you can find me online on Facebook. Just look at my name, and DeJoly.com is my website. Let's see, also on Instagram. And you can contact me directly at my email account, DeJolyLabrier@gmail.com. And I have a variety of things on my website, including my art and my books and links to my workshops and to my retreat.
I've always loved Mentone. Mentone is kind of like it's the artsy area of the state of Alabama. I just always loved it. It was just the art all over the place. You walk in that small town and there you go. I love it. Even the school looks like art. I mean,
they sold the school.
No.
Yeah, they sold the school.
Did it go somewhere else?
That's it. No, now the kids are going to Fort Payne.
Are you kidding me? That just something just doesn't seem right about that.
It's not right about that because the city of Mentone bought it and they've made it into an art village. They call it the Art Village.
Well,
so
that's some consolation. Art village. But I'd love to see kids educated where they were. I think they had to get the education there.
They were getting a good education there. I'm sorry that I was sorry to see that it went, but I think it was under question for some time, and nobody was talking about it until finally somebody said we bought it. I'm like, I didn't know it was for sale.
Well, we're going to have to call it a day. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's always been a pleasure. We're going to talk about essential oils next time and making your own oils next time. So hang around so I can get you planned for next month. And thank you guys so much for watching. You're the reason we do this. Keep sending emails. I love them. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. You can find us on radio and television. Same. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.